Alright, so today, thanks to Complete Aquatics, I managed to get a hold of one of the Twinstar lights, as it stands at the present, using kind of a couple of different lights, realistically. None of them great. So, today, let's refocus that. I'm actually unboxing this. So again, Complete Aquatics helped me out with this. I am getting sponsorship sorted out with them for this. So by all means, I didn't get the light for free. I did pay for it. But again, good light, and it's basically what I wanted. So I'm just gonna show you guys what to expect. There is a couple of goodies in here as well, which I was advised about. A couple of things to try out, which I'm able to test and show you guys as well. Also Twinstar products, but nonetheless, still something to test out, show you guys. So initially, as you see, I've got the SA, it states here. My tank is 80 centimeters, so unfortunately the normal ones don't necessarily fit, but again, nonetheless, the light is a great light no matter what. So as you can see, the initial unboxing is it's very well packed. The light itself is absolutely excellent. I'll just scoot this back. So it's got a nice brushed aluminium effect on it. It's a bit of a fingerprint catcher, but in all honesty, I'm sure it'd be fine. I would suggest making sure you use a microfiber cloth, just so you don't get any scratches on it. Again, quite a delicate unit, but nice nonetheless. In terms of what else we've got in the box, so there's a box and a box here. Let me move this. Couple of things dropped out there. So we've got the light unit itself. Again, this is the 600 SA, so anywhere between 60 centimeters to 80 centimeters. In terms of what you're getting, it's a WRGB LED source, 3500 lumens, and a 44 watt consumption. Again, very high powered light. If you're getting one of these lights, I would suggest purchasing one of these as well. So this is a LED function controller is what they call it. So when you open this, again, you'll get an adapter, which we'll figure out what that does soon. Never really had one of these lights, so I guess we'll learn together. Again, this is the controller that you receive. Let me just focus that for you. If I can get it in focus, there we go. So you receive a controller just like this. You've got a mode. This is the hour and the minutes. This is your on-off button. Got a satisfying little peely sticker here. Just gotta, there we go. Again, nice little piece. I would suggest getting it with the S series just because it can be important. If you're wanting to mount it, it seems you get some 3M tape. Again, guessing you can mount it to the tank. I'm probably not going to, maybe, not sure. I'll decide on that later when I do put it on the tank. In terms of other goods I got, I've got some diffusers. We'll do a review on these in a later video. Oops. Guess they're a separate little thing, so I'll have to change out my diffuser. Just focus back onto the table. So again, yes, so we get the light. Also has a satisfying small peely bit. That's relatively loud. Again, very nice unit. So again, this uses blue, greens, reds and whites. Gives you a full color spectrum. We'll put that to the side for now. So in terms of the plug, now some of them do come with EU plugs. I spoke to Complete Aquatics about this, obviously. I myself, I actually do work there, so I spoke to the people. They actually said that it comes with this UK plug from Complete Aquatics. We apparently are swapping them out, so that's great to know. And then obviously everyone in the UK can ensure that their lights work in their plugs then. So again, UK plug, very simple, just plug it into your wall. So in terms of the mounting, again, as I discussed, I got the extendable brackets. Looks like there's screws. We'll refocus that. So you got screws, an Allen key, and again the bars themselves. Probably relatively simple mounting. In terms of power, you got your power brick. Just an AC/DC adapter, no specific branding or anything like that, just nice and simple, gets the job done. Right, so in terms of setting the light up, as I discussed at the moment as it is, I am currently running a couple of different strange combinations of lights. Again, it's not really optimal to have multiple lights, in all honesty. So in terms of setting up, that is, you're going to want to unscrew this little plastic bit here, get that removed off. We'll open the brackets. So we've got the bracket pieces. Again, these just kind of, before, I think it's up to 10 mils, just little metal brackets. Again, relatively simple. Get a couple of bars, which I would assume is going to be one for each mounting hole in the light unit. 4 very tiny minuscule screws. I will no doubt lose one of them, probably. And again, Allen key, very small little Allen key for the screws. So again, in terms of this, just peel it open, slide them out. Very high quality materials used, as you can tell. Quite nice metal, very well cut, very well coloured, painted, brushed, anything else you want. They do a couple of other lights. This is the S series, as discussed. In terms of other lighting units, there is the C and the E. The E is the middle ground, the C is the budget. Again, all of these are sold on Complete Aquatics, which is great. Easy for me to get access to them, which is nice. So again, in terms of setting up, I guess we'll figure it out as we go along. It would seem that just possibly goes into this one. Yep, this one into that one. So again, couple of different extension plugs there, realistically. Nothing too difficult. Then we get the power pack. We will unscrew this power pack. There we go. And again, just the same old cable. Cable and cable. Just goes together like that. Nice and easy. Again, plug. Same thing. Just goes into the power bank. As I said, it's fairly straightforward to set this light up. No difficulties, in all honesty. I imagine the most fiddly bit will be the small screws. I don't imagine that's easy, to be honest. Especially for me. Quite large hands, so it's quite difficult for me to adjust smaller things, in all honesty. So again, all cables aside, the light unit itself, so in terms of brackets, I am going without instructions here. I would assume that the height is this one, as it seems slightly shorter. So you'll probably just, as you can see, when I refocus for you, mounting holes here and here. Now, I'm assuming it's the middle ones. So yeah, it doesn't really matter which way you put them in for now. It's I suppose irrelevant for now anyway. So again, just popping that one in. I think I've done that the right way, yep. And with this, so this is the screw side, which means you would have them going like this. So this would be on the external part of your aquarium. In my case, obviously, with it being rimless, it's relatively easy to fit. So again, in this case, it would be upside down and this way. If I could find the hole, there we go. So again, relatively simple to set up, kind of like a plug and play scheme almost. Now in terms of screwing them in, I would suggest maybe initially putting one screw in just to start it off. So let's see here. So yeah, they do have a corresponding side, so you can't just put them in anywhere, in all honesty. Again, just partially screw them in. You don't need to be all the way in. It's just so you've got a bit of a start on them then when you go to actually fit the light. I'm struggling to get this one in all honesty. And there's me losing one. So again, there's a correlating hole in all honesty. So it's a bit finicky. Again, best to get somebody maybe with smaller hands, maybe somebody with more patience. Not the patient type in all honesty. So you just screw them in just so they've got to start. Again, as you can see, the holes completely no screw inside of them as of yet. Now in terms of that, I assume it would be this way. So you're wanting to fit them like so. Just ensure the height is correct. Again, just go in at the screw and just ensure it's tight. As I said, in all honesty, it's probably best for somebody to be somebody of more patience. Again, don't really have a lot of it in all honesty, but I do what I can. Again, relatively easy to mount, and then it adjusts like this to whatever aquarium you need to fit. Again, same on the other side. So I think I said it was this one goes into the light. These ones are the mounted. So as you can see, there's a slight difference in length. This one, this bit here is slightly longer. That is the part that I will be putting into the light. And again, back to the screws. Like I said before, relatively simple. Just find the right side of the screw. And just pop that in. And then screw it a little bit. This is, for me, in terms of getting them in, it's a lot easier for me to do this with my finger. So again, if you're having issues, just try it with your finger. See if it works that way. I imagine it's not recommended to do so, but it's a lot easier for myself. You can also just clip it onto that, apparently, which is a thing. Didn't know that. But again, just screw it in ever so slightly. Sorry. Again, not affecting the holes, and then proceed to obviously place it on. So again, as I said, all of these lights now, we do all the extendable versions at Complete Aquatics. I'll leave a link in the description below. Just go and check them out. Well, check us out realistically. Again, it's nice to see that more companies are looking into the planted tank hobby themselves rather than just making do with what they've got realistically. There is plenty of other stuff on there in terms of substrates. Majority of my stuff that I have in my tank is actually from them. So yeah, what I'll do now is I'll cut the video, I'll get it set up on the tank and whatnot, and cut the video to when you'll see it on the tank. Alright, so back to business. In terms of the light, it is now mounted. It was relatively easy. I think depending on which way you want to put the brackets, I assume the bracket is supposed to be the longer side. The longer part of this is on here, but because I put the longer side in the light itself, I can actually stretch it further than this. So this is again 60 to 80 centimeters, but I had at least 10 centimeters more on each side when I'd finished. So in terms of the unit itself, I'm just going to try and see if I can focus it prior to turning the light on, because I imagine it's going to be a bit. So when you do plug it on, it does turn on. Plug it in, it does turn on. Again, as soon as you switch it on, it has quite a nice effect where it warms up to the tank. A very, 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 very bright light nonetheless. Enhances all the colours. Again, makes the reds quite a lot stronger. If you want, you can obviously move it about a bit, figure out where's best for yourself. In terms of lighting, in terms of intensity, if you get the controller, which I showed you, again, you can just alter it, you can turn it down, and pretty much just go all the way down, in all honesty. Very dim lit, you can go to 0 if you want. Again, just, in my opinion, I'm going to have mine on full. My reason behind this is my aquarium is quite used to high light. Again, with the injection of CO2, it's obviously, it will take in the light, it'll deal with the light. I do dose extra fertilizer regular basis. I am probably going to have a small algae bloom, maybe a couple of issues here and there. In terms of health for the plants, because they will be adjusting to new light. When adjusting to new light, plants can melt, die, but they always bounce back. Plants are made that way. But again, in terms of colour, I'm very happy with it. I definitely would recommend this unit to pretty much anybody, in all honesty. You can't really find a better unit in terms of getting close to daylight. It is the best. In my opinion anyway. Of course, everybody has their own opinion, and there is plenty of light units out there, each to their own kind of thing, but I think when you're looking at natural daylight and natural coloration, I would hands down say, in my opinion, from what I've witnessed and whatnot, I think this is probably one of the better lights out there in terms of options. The coloration is beautiful. It forces, it spends a lot of time with the research, basically aiming it towards plants and planted tanks in general. Does obviously enhance the colours of the fish, but again, not completely necessary. The main purpose is to ensure that the plants grow healthy, and with the endless possibilities with this light, I don't imagine that's too much of a task, in all honesty. But again, like I said, very happy with the light. It doesn't create a lot of shadows, as you'll see from below. It is a... just lower you down here. It's quite a colourful unit. Let me see if I might not be able to catch it, but basically from what I can see, there's a red strip down the middle, 2 blue strips, 2 white strips, and a few dots of green here, there, and everywhere. Again, super cool light. Really happy with that. I'll just bring you back up to the height of the aquarium. So again, you're not really, it's not a cheap light, but you're also not really going for any cheap quality stuff when you want to go for planted. You don't have to go really high tech. If you want something to grow in with really strong colours, strong health and whatnot, then I would recommend high tech. Just injecting the CO2, ensuring that your light's right, balancing your CO2 light and nutrients. Very important, otherwise you'll get algae. Again, there is some minor imbalances in this tank. As you can see, there's a bit of algae there, but every aquarium has its algae. In terms of going low tech, you can still purchase this light, you can still use this light. You just need to turn it down in terms of intensity, just to ensure that it's not too bright. So overall, it's quite a good light, and it kind of caters to multiple audiences, not just the one. Again, like I said, each to their own. I would say try one out, and just kind of play around with it, see what you can get going, and then hopefully your tanks will be growing relatively well. And well, we'll see how mine does in the next couple of days. I will do an update on this tank regularly. This is my main tank. I do have other tanks. I've got one over to this side and one behind us. I'm not going to move the camera because I'll save them for another video. But in terms of my tank, this is mine. The other 2 belong to my girlfriend, who does some kind of planted stuff herself. She will be rescaping eventually one of her tanks, so I'll definitely be recording that so everybody can see that. And but yeah, in terms of the light, very happy with the light. Couldn't really ask for much more, and I'm sure all the excitement is actually worth it, in all honesty. Again, I'll drop in the description link to Complete Aquatics. All of their Twinstar lights are on the new in at the moment. So they've got the C's, the E's, and the S's. All of them are adjustable, so we do the adjustable sizes. The reason being is we want to be able to cater to as many people as possible. But again, beautiful light. So yeah, thanks very much for watching.